Thank you for staying with SABC News. In news just in, there's been an update on the listeriosis class action suit and case by Tiger Brands. It issued a SENS statement this morning, and I'll read it out at the bottom part, saying that they have agreed with the plaintiff's attorneys to give relief to qualifying individuals who have urgent medical needs, regardless of the fact that liability has not yet been determined. And in addition, they say the legal representatives are engaging on measures to arrive at a speedier resolution of the class action overall. This is with regards to the listeriosis case. You may remember it, that we had some people who succumbed to it and others who did have issues with their health. Tiger Brands issuing a statement on SENS that they will be coming up with some sort of compensation. At this point, it is not clear how they're going to do this, but what they have said is that they have agreed on qualifying individuals, and at this stage we do not know what qualifying individuals are, and we have not been able to get hold of Tiger Brands so that we can get clarity on this latest update. And to this now, Asian shares eased on Wednesday on the back of weakness in China as investors brace for a tightly contested US election that could have huge ramifications for the world's second largest economy, even as Beijing steps up efforts to show up growth. And the Bank of Japan kicked off its two-day policy meeting on Wednesday, with economists polled by Reuters expecting the central bank to keep interest rates steady at 0.25%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index was down 1.65% at 20,385 as of its final hour of trading, and Japan's Nikkei rose by 0.96% of a percent to end the day at 39,277.39. And in the US, investors were also bracing for a slew of US data this week that could give guidance to outlook for Federal Reserve policy. The ADP National Employment Report is due later in the day alongside advanced third quarter GDP estimates, which will come ahead of Friday's non-farm payroll figures. Data on Tuesday, US job openings dropped to more than 3.5-year low in September. US stock futures ticked higher, buoyed by a solid result from Google parent Alphabet, which reported quarterly revenue that beat estimates. Meta Platforms report their earnings later in the day, followed by Apple and Amazon on Thursday. Nasdaq futures did edge up 0.06%, while S&P 500 futures ticked down on 0.07%. And local markets are keenly awaiting the first midterm budget announcement at 2 p.m. under the Government of National Unity. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana is expected to present the country's policy objectives and macroeconomic forecast for the next 3 years. This medium-term budget policy statement comes amid a more optimistic economic scenario spurred by political stability, lower inflation and interest rates, and a stronger rand against the dollar and at the end of load shedding. The all-share index down over 0.5%. The rand is currently trading at 17 rands 56 to the dollar, 22 rand 78 to the pound, and at 19 rands 02 to the euro. Gold is trading at $2,780 an ounce. Platinum is at $1,041 an ounce, while the price of Brent crude oil is sitting at $71 per barrel. Viv Govender from Rand Swiss is our market commentator for today. Thank you so much for your time on Point. The minister will be taking the podium any minute now, in just a few minutes. There have been mixed emotions about the sentiment that we've been seeing, a positive one, and the fact that this is quite a different MTBPS, Viv, where there's a whole lot of input under the 7th administration. What do you think we are likely to hear, and what does Rand Swiss forecast?
The hope is for a conservative budget, looking to consolidate the fiscal situation in South Africa at the moment. I mean, as has been mentioned, I think by many of your interviewees, the budget deficit has started to become a problem. And you're seeing internationally that, if you let this kind of stuff run out, you have problems long term that, become, quite hard to handle. For instance, in the US, they are spending more on servicing their debt. That just means paying the interest on their debt than they are, for instance, in paying the military. You're seeing issues in Europe as well, where that's becoming a problem. Japan has these issues where they can't raise interest rates because they have such large amounts of debt that even like a 1% raise in interest rates would be such a gigantic burden on the government in terms of paying back that debt that it's very difficult for them to do that. So yeah, we got to solve the debt problem. We've got to show the market. Beyond that as well, we have as South Africans, unfortunately, because we're an emerging market and we're considered to be higher risk than most other markets, most developed markets rather. The market-based also is investors out there expect us to be a bit more conservative, a bit less, reckless in terms of our spending than you could find, for instance, in Europe or even in America. And so we have to maintain that, credibility as well as showing that we have a path forward for growth. And South African growth rates have been, ticking up slightly, but they need to be significantly higher to do something about our unemployment rate, especially.
Viv, we have currently on the screen the minister and doing his walk. He is flanked there by the Deputy Minister, David Masondo. I can see the SARS Commissioner, Edward Kesweta, and they are walking to where the speech is going to be made. And that is the walk that we wait and keenly await for happening currently on our screens right now. Minister walking inside to where the marquee where this speech is going to be held. Let me continue with yourself, Viv. You'll excuse me for breaking up our conversation there. Please allow us to throw forward or maybe look back at what's been happening in the US as well. We saw that Alphabet has reported quarterly revenue that did beat estimates, but they still have that concerns around the trends that's been happening, and also I think it's the lawsuit that's happening also there. What do you make of what's happening with Alphabet?
Oh yes, I mean they've shown like really good growth in cloud and good growth as well in YouTube. YouTube, most people don't realize, is an absolute money spinner for Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google. I think if you add in like the subscribers plus the ad revenue they get, it's a $50 to $60 billion business. In terms of like revenue coming in. And so you can do a multiple on that to get like, multiple $100 billion business. That's YouTube. The cloud business has also done very well. It shows very good growth rates beyond what, like you said, the market has been expecting. The problem with Google is it's in a way too successful, especially around its, cash cow, which is the search business. We just use the term Google something. When you say basically buy a Toyota and you mean buy a car, Toyota is doing really well in the car sector. If you say Google when you mean search, Google is doing very well in the search engines. And unfortunately, it's doing so well that right now, as you said, that there is a danger that the government's going to come in and break the company up. If it did, you'd probably have multiple companies that can be created from Google. You have, of course, the search business. You have the advertising business, which is kind of what is the secret sauce that makes YouTube and the search business make any money. But you also have things like, for instance, Android. Android phones. The Android system is created by Google, or primarily run by Google, and that could be its own business. You will have the car business, Waymo, which is the taxi business. You also have new things like isomorphic labs that they've created with the AI company, DeepMind, which again could be its own business. I mean, DeepMind could probably be valued at tens of billions, if not over 100 billion. If you look at the valuation of OpenAI, which is 150 billion, DeepMind could get close to that on its own.
Yeah, Meta, Amazon, as well as Apple, they're also due to release their results. What's your expectations with regards to this?
We need to see what kind of impact AI is having on these companies. Meta has been successful with AI. It doesn't basically charge you for AI, but it's trying to integrate it into the rest of its business. It's created an AI model called Llama, and it's basically giving it away for free. But it's also integrating into its business, not just in the point from using generative AI for people to make this and so on, but also for, like, for instance, making its business more viable. Remember, it had an issue with Apple a little while back where Apple stopped it collecting data, and therefore it didn't know exactly what the profile of its users were. And one of the good things about Facebook from the point of view of making money is that it knows exactly what the user is like, and therefore is able to target ads. Therefore, charge advertisers more money for giving this person an ad. But if you don't know exactly what the person is like, many of these ads get wasted and advertisers don't pay as much. But with AI, they can use small amounts of information to get a better idea about the clientele, about the customers, and that gives them more power. And so AI has been very useful to them, even beyond the whole generative AI thing. Amazon and Apple have not been as strong into AI as the other companies, but they're still involved in it. Amazon especially with regards to their cloud business. With Apple, I think it's obviously going to be things around their smartphone and what the effect of China is at the moment on their business.
Yeah, let me wrap up our conversation by just asking a quick question with regards to back here at home, that seeing that the Rand has been doing so much better compared to a couple of months or weeks ago, should this budget not meet the expectation of the market, what would happen to the Rand and how would that impact on us as consumers?
Well, we'd be obviously hurt because the Rand would weaken, and then basically the fears of inflation would come back. You'd see petrol prices, especially, start to rise. If we have a very disappointing budget. That being said, I don't think we will. I think our finance ministry, our Reserve Bank have been reasonably conservative, and they've always kind of erred on the side of caution more than anything else. But let's just say they didn't, then yeah, we would probably see the Rand weaken. And a weaker Rand would mean inflation would be an issue again, which means that interest rate cuts would not be as viable. It would mean that it's more expensive to get petrol, more expensive to shop for Christmas, all the negative things that you get from higher inflation.
All right. Rand Swiss Portfolio Manager Viv Govender, thank you so much. It's always great speaking to you.